everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the Northern California channel where gardening is made easy. So, before I actually show you what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to explain you what I'm going to explain in this video, right? So, this is going to be about automatic watering system. So, in a typical house, right, where you are, so your automatic irrigation system is already set up, right? So, you have your water inlet and you have your water controller that has already been set up, and there is a 5 by 8 hose pipe typically that's connected to the water level controller, and this water level controller is connected to the main electrical units, or it's battery operated. And then so you have your it goes to your trees, right? So this is in your ground. These are all typically on your ground, right? All of these, let me show you, all of these are in your ground. Pretty much everything is ground based, right? So all of these is in your trees on the ground. Okay, so everything's connected, and then the hose pipe, generally, you run a hose pipe, and then so there is a small drip system here. Each of this will have its own drip system, and this will have its drip system that is being connected by the main hose. And so we have the lawn, and the lawn usually gets connected through a sprinkler system, right? So this is typically how it's done. So now the problem statement here is, so I have my potted plants, right? So now after it's all done, so you buy some plants, and so you have some roses, you have some whatever, the mint leaves, and you have other things, you have some vegetables, and then you put a raised bed also, and you put some raised bed, and then you put some plants there, and then you put some vegetable garden, and you have your own herbs and everything, in these potted plants. Okay, so now you go out on a vacation, right? And how do you water these plants? How do you automatically water these plants is what we are going to see. And how do you tap into the main line, and how do you water these plants automatically while you're out on vacation? Maybe you're going out for a few weeks to a month, and you want to make sure that your potted plants automatically get watered. And how do you adjust your water controller and your raised bed also? You have your raised bed, and this could turn out to be a permanent solution based on once you set it up, right? It's going to be very easy. I'll show you how to do it, and it can be taken care while you're on a vacation, as well as you can completely make it hands-free and have your potted plants and your raised bed automatically water from the tapping from the main line. The main line kind of goes, you see the main line in the corner, that's my main line, and it does go to my trees, all my trees, as you see. It goes to my main line, goes to the trees. So what we do is basically, so these are my potted plants right here. See, these are the potted plants, and I'll get to a raised bed garden in a bit. But first, what you do is, so this is the main line which comes up. So the main line, what you do is, so this is a 5 by 8 hose that comes down. So what you do is, you basically put a T connection here. So the T connection, so it kind of goes to the main line. This one kind of goes to the main line to all the trees, and you basically tap into it. So you cut the hose, and then you buy this T connection, 5 by 8 T connection from anywhere you can get at the big box stores, and you basically tap in the line, and you run it to the potted plants. Okay, so that's the first step that you have to do. All right, so now, so once it's tapped from here it's tapped, and I kind of run it underground, and see here, this is a stopper. So you need to have a stopper in between, and in case you wanted to stop it and you don't want to run your water line to your potted plants, you always have a stopper. It's good to have a stopper there. And then you take the 5 by 8 and run it behind your pots, where you have the pots, right? So see here, I'm just running it all the way down, and just put an end cap here. So just put an end cap here,
and this is a 5x8 end cap. So if you want to extend it later, you can remove this end cap and then you can extend it. Okay, so that's the step number 2. Now let's get to step number 3. So step number 3, what you do is you buy this 1/4 inch hose. Okay, and then this is a connector to the main hose, right? The 1/4 inch hose pipe is connected to the 5x8 hose pipe. Okay, so you connect it, and then as you see here, you close a shot here with this. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so this is a, you see here, right? So this is a T junction. What I've done here is a T junction. So the T junction from the hose pipe 5x8, it goes to the T junction, and the T junction goes to the next potted plant. Okay, so now in the T junction, what you do is you tap into it. It's the same concept what I did for the 5x8. Take it and then you connect to a drip system. So this is a drip system which goes to the pot. This is a spike, so it can kind of nicely very well go inside this pot, right? So this drip system kind of gives you a nice flow that you can adjust. So it goes all the way from 0, and you can adjust it all the way to 29 gallons. So what you do is you take this and then you spin it clockwise. You will be able to increase the flow, and if you do it anti-clockwise, it will decrease the flow. As simple as that. So what you do is you do the same thing, and you basically do this for all your potted plants. So this is the second potted plant, and to the T junction, and this goes to a dripper system which can be adjusted. The flow can be adjusted, and then the same T goes to the next one. This is what you do for all the plants. And finally, if you look at it right here, I am connected it with a L junction. I've connected with the hose pipe. So the reason for that, right, is that I will have enough pressure for all the pots. So the first pot, and this is the last pot I have, and the last pot end junction is connected over here. So it's as simple as that, what I've shown. So what you do is you just use the dripper system, and you adjust the nozzle. So when you do it clockwise, you can increase the flow, and you do anti-clockwise, you decrease the flow of the water, and therefore you can control the flow of the water, right? And so that's the last step that you have to do. So this is how you control the automatic watering for all your potted plants. So when you are going out on vacation, you can always do this, and even when you are at home, you can still let it automatically water it, right? And if you think the watering system is not correct, you can always come back and turn off your main wall right here, so that only for the trees the main line only gets water, and you can hand water it if you want. Okay, so that's how it works. Right, now let me explain what I do for my raised garden bed. Okay, so for the raised garden bed, what you do, it's the same concept. So we have the main line here that is going. In the main line, what you do is you tap it into the main line. It's the same T junction, and in your 5x8, you tap it, and then it kind of goes like this, and then goes to the raised garden bed. The raised garden bed, right, you put a similar stopper here, right, stopper wall. So stopper wall, if you keep it in this direction, it's going to let the water go. For some reason, if you want to stop it, right, then you basically stop it, right, and then you take it out, and then the 5x8, you run it on top of your raised garden bed. What you do is you do a dripper system, and make it more in. This is the dripper system that I have connected. This is the drip system. It basically drips. You see the hole right there? The hole, the water drips slowly into the soil, so it kind of nicely drenches the soil. I would strongly suggest you guys to use this dripping system. Don't go with the soaker hose. Some people connect the soaker hose to this to your 5x8, and then run it to your raised garden bed. I wouldn't suggest the soaker hose, because sometimes it blocks, the mud blocks. Initially it works good, and the mud blocks, and then stops the water flowing later. So this one comes for a long time, and there's no maintenance once you do this, right? So what you do is you basically take it inside your raised garden bed. You see here, it kind of runs like this. So you go in a zigzag fashion, right? It kind of goes in a zigzag fashion into like more like an S shape, right? It goes like this, and then it goes like this, it goes like this, it goes like this, right? So based on where you want to plant your plants, right? So like that you do it, and then you take it all the way down here. Let me show you, and bring it down here, and the end connection is over here. So this one will ensure that end to end of your raised garden bed you get the equal pressure on both sides of the garden bed. So that's the whole idea of connecting it here, and then the other end you can connect it over there, so that the water kind of fills into your main hose, and so the drip system basically taps the water on both sides. You get equal amount of pressure on both. This type of drip system really works well for your garden bed as well as your potted plants. So this is a simple easy step, and shouldn't cost you much in order to run this line, and kind of saves your time also, so that you don't have to go manually water it. And so I strongly suggest a drip system, because the advantage of the drip system is it slowly drips into your soil, and the plants absorb the nutrients. Since the water is slowly dropping, the nutrients also gets released to the plants very slowly. So instead of hand watering, right, the drip system always has the benefits. So longer time, it slowly drips, and you get healthy plants because of that, right? So I strongly suggest to go with the drip system, and especially it works pretty well when you are out on a vacation, and you can do more like a low touch, right? You can check how the plants are, and then if needed you can always use the valve to stop the water, and then you can hand water, you can take control of it anytime, right? And then again readjust it, right? So that way it really works well. So this is my water controller, as you see here. So this one controls the water that goes to all the trees and plants. So what trees usually they require deep watering once in 2 weeks. It needs few gallons of water, and once in 2 weeks is good enough. Or if the plants are even mature, once in a month is also okay. But for your potted plants, once in a week may not be good. So what you do, right, when you go out on a vacation, you have to come and change. So this is basically an orbits controller, and you can always buy some other controller and connect to your system. And so what you do is basically change it to how often, right? So how often? Right now I've set it as 3 days, right? Because I wanted to water frequently, right? So you change it to the number of dates, right? So in your potted plants, if it requires, based on how the temperature and sun setting, you might want to change it to 3 to 4 days, right? So frequent watering is required for the pots, because it may dry out easily in summer. And then change the number of days. Then what you do is, right, the budget, you basically change your budget to 30% or 40%. So budget is usually controlled during winter and summer. If it rains in winter, you can completely turn off, and the budgeting you can take it to zero. And as gradually the spring comes up and summer comes up, you dial it up, right? So the budget is what you control. You don't control the run times. Fix the run times and control your budget, right? And when you go out on a vacation, or for a month or whatever, so your potted plants and the raised bed garden requires more frequent watering, right? Because it might evaporate soon, especially for the new plant that you have planted. So you might want to change it to how often, and then you can dial your settings accordingly. So the trees also gets water once in 3 days, which is okay, because we have reduced the budget here to 40%, right? So usually it is much higher for trees and deep watering, but you can make it like 30-40%, which goes over for a period of 4 times, or 4 or 5 times in couple of weeks, right? Or 3-4 times in a week. And so your trees are okay, and your mature plants are okay, and your potted plants also gets water. So once you're back from it, then you can redial it to adjust whatever the needs that you have, right? And then you set it back to auto. And all right, now I have turned on the main valve. As you see, the water started flowing, and I'm going to show you my plants. Here we go. That's what you see here, and I'm going to just turn on this knob here, a little tight here. You see here, kind of nicely waters, and you can basically reduce the dial, kind of reduce the water, simple as that, and then you can fully turn it off, right? So it goes all the way from 0 to, so now it's completely stopped. And then, so this is an empty pot. I'll probably put some plants later. But the idea is, you can turn it off and then you can turn it on and you can adjust the speed. So this way you can look at your plants and then see it needs more water or less water, and based on that you can dial accordingly. And here, as you see here, I'm just dialing it, and so it's kind of dripping slowly. My tomato plants, slightly it's dripping, actually you can see that, it's kind of dripping slightly. It's like the water is dripping. And here's my curry plant, and I've done the same thing. This is kind of drip system, it's kind of dripping slowly. Hope you enjoyed the video, and you learned something beneficial in order to do automatic dripping for your plants. If you really like the video, please click like and subscribe to my channel, and it helps me, kind of motivates me to put more videos from my home gardening and then share those tips to you. Hopefully see you soon in another video. Thanks everyone, thanks for watching, bye. Until the world, I'm gonna sink down under the water. Until the world